Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Live from Saturn. My name is Frank Perrine.
I'm Cody Decker.
And I'm Duncan Gale. So yes, today we will be covering the She-Hulk Disney Plus series, which is airing as we record this on Disney Plus now. So a little bit of background about She-Hulk, the character. Oh man, what a character. So She-Hulk, she was actually first introduced, a rare Marvel character whose first appearance was in her own self-titled book. She first appeared in The Savage She-Hulk in 1980. She was created by this guy you may have heard of. His name is Stan Lee. Hey, heroes! Did somebody mention my name? Oh no!
My God!
I've summoned Stan Lee. Hey, heroes, yeah, that's right. So I created this character, She-Hulk, you know. I mean, basically, the way it works is that you create one character, and then you create another character, and you put she in front of it. You make it a female version of that character, and you got another character.
That was a hot move back in the day.
That's right, That's right. I mean, you know, really, it was a very creative thing that you did, you know. I mean, it was... nobody had ever thought about that before I did. You know?
Because it's like the Hulk, but it is a girl, and how do you get that across?
Yeah, but it's a girl, you know? Nobody ever thought of that.
Because I like it. They did that with Venom, and I was like, how could they possibly top that?
Venom. That's right.
Just girl Venom, yeah.
That's right. That was another guy, Todd McFarlane. He was great until he left our company, and then I didn't care for him so much anymore.
Then he kind of dropped off.
That's right, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, thanks, Stan.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you, Stan Lee.
Thank you,
Oh, wow, that was
Stan.
a great appearance by Stan Lee again. Yeah.
That was.
Duncan, you kind of left for a bit. You were like awestruck.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah, I just
channeled.
stepped away. I let him take over. You know, hey,
Wow.
I'm not going to argue with Stan Lee. But yeah, so anyway, I mean, it was an interesting story because basically, at the time, the Incredible Hulk TV show was going on, and there was also the $6 Million Man TV show going on, and then they made the Bionic Woman out of that, and so
Correct.
basically,
She Bionic.
yeah, and so basically, She-Hulk was a way for Stan Lee to basically say, oh well, somebody else is going to make a female version of Hulk anyway, so I might as well do it. So that was basically the sort of
The female
background.
Red Hulk is my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's is that
Red She-Hulk?
That is Betty Ross.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They changed her name to
right.
Harpy because they're like, we can't keep doing this.
Okay.
We can't keep it's too many. It's already Hulk guy. Another guy Hulk is red.
She-Red Hulk. Shred Hulk.
Shredder.
That's another company. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I physically hated this show. I did not cotton to She-Hulk at all.
Well, maybe you will if I give you a little more background information about the character. Basically, when she was first introduced, she wasn't that popular. Savage She-Hulk was the comic she was in. It only lasted a couple issues, so basically, although the comic failed, people liked the character, and so she became a member of the Avengers for a while, and then. There was this big Marvel event in the mid-'80s, Secret Wars, which was actually the beginning of the Venom character. Because of the black suit and everything.
That was cool.
Yeah, and that was
the only cool thing to happen.
No,
that's when
that series is awesome.
That's when comics really started getting going. Is when Venom kind of
the first.
He's
You're right.
pro Venom.
young buck. Yeah. The first Secret War series is awesome. The second one maybe not so much.
Yeah. But she also was brought up, and I mean I think it was great. She was in the series when they separated Bruce Banner from the Hulk, and the Hulk was all rage. She was also in that one. I that's a great story.
Oh yeah.
Which actually I hope they do in the movie, because they actually separate Bruce Banner from his body, the Fantastic Four. So now the Hulk is his own body, Bruce Banner's his own body, but the Hulk is all rage because there's nothing to control him, and he's just smacking around everybody. It's great.
Is that how? No, that's not World War Hulk.
No. Totally different story.
Okay.
And you got Samson, all these people trying to beat him, and the best part with the She-Hulk, she goes, I'll talk to him. And she goes to the Hulk, and she's like, "Hey," and he just levels her out. Just levels her out. Yeah, it's a great story.
Is Bruce just like pulling his collar the whole time?
No,
like I
Bruce
guess I
is-
shouldn't have asked him to do
Well,
that.
Bruce is actually dying because they separated them, so he's like really sick.
Oh,
So yeah, it's an interesting story. Have you ever read that story?
I don't think I have. No,
Yeah,
that's a
I'll
newer
bring
one?
it in.
Okay.
I'll bring
Yeah.
it in. No, it's older. It's probably in the 80s.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I
don't
read-
think
I read one of the newer reboots of She-Hulk, which I think this show is very similar in that style of, where I don't really know what she did, but they changed her name to Hulk for like a couple issues because Hulk died, so he got shot in the face by Hawkeye, and then they're like, yeah, she's She-Hulk again, like 2 months later.
Ah. So you didn't like the series?
I hated everything. Everything I've seen in She-Hulk I did not like. I haven't seen the older original stuff though.
Okay, well, yeah. So I mean, the reason that I bring up the Secret Wars is because basically the Thing, Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four, decides to sort of stay behind on the battle planet at the end of that Secret Wars, and that basically left a spot open on the Fantastic Four, and so She-Hulk,
that's right.
She-Hulk joined the Fantastic Four.
So that was a thing.
Yeah. So that was
Okay.
a thing.
All right, yeah.
She was the She-Thing.
That was
basically.
She-Hulk thing.
Yeah, although actually there's another character called She-Thing.
Oh yeah, is that the one with like she's like in a Thing suit and it's just like a pink-haired girl?
Well, no, she actually turns into Thing.
Oh.
There is also a part. There was also a storyline where Ben Grimm loses the ability to become Thing, and he wears a Thing suit as well, which was weird. But
Okay, so maybe one of those characters got that Thing suit.
maybe, yeah. But so She-Hulk joins the Fantastic Four during a pretty well-respected run by the writer-artist John Byrne, and so that's significant because John Byrne will basically be very sort of connected to the character from then on, and so after she's a member of the Fantastic Four for a while, she gets another series called the Sensational She-Hulk in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Which is a much more light-hearted series. That
Teams up with Dazzler. I'm kidding.
Because I see
I think
Dazzler.
that might actually happen.
Really?
I mean, she teams up with like Howard,
that was like the
with
lamest
like
comment ever.
Howard the Duck and
Howard
stuff. I mean,
Duck.
she teams up with weirder
Yeah.
people. Than,
I see
than that,
Jubilee
yeah.
Now,
everywhere.
you know, obviously you know a lot about the
Yeah.
character. Was the character gray at one point?
I don't think she was. No.
I heard that,
Yeah.
and I was
Gray-
like,
Gray
wow.
She-Hulk.
Hulk was gray.
The original printing of it was gray.
That's right. Yeah, and then they went back to it. But yeah, so the series Sensational She-Hulk done by John Byrne, that really kind of set the tone. I mean, a lot of the stuff in this TV series is drawing from that. That's where she first started breaking the fourth wall and like actually talking to John Byrne within the comic itself and talking about, hey,
that
know,
makes
what-
a lot of sense.
Just hearing
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes me.
Yeah.
It paints the image of this guy losing his mind. Because when you said it, she's not talking to the audience, but to
talking to the
act-
artist.
Like he's writing, and she's like, "What kind of story is this, you stupid?" And he's like, "Yeah,
Right. Right. Exactly. Well, yeah. She kind of talked to both him and the audience at times, but mostly to him, and just like, hey, why can't you give me like good characters to fight and stuff like that?
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. So that was like a very kind of fun, sort of more lighthearted approach to the character, and that series I think was a little more popular.
So did you like the series so far?
Oh yeah. I think that the series is great. I think that the series totally captured. I mean, I think if you've actually read a lot of She-Hulk's comics, I think that it's very true to the way that she's portrayed in a lot of the stuff that Marvel has done with her. I mean, just one more thing I'll mention from the comics is that in the 2000s, there was a sort of I think it was just like a 12 issue series that Dan Slott did that sort of brought her back closer to her lawyer roots, which is also something that the series is drawing from. It was in that series that she joined this law firm, which she also works for in the TV series, Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Holloway. is the law firm that she works for. Now,
I just want to stress that Duncan was not looking at a piece of paper with the law firm.
I know. He said that straight out.
I mean, this is the same thing with when I do karaoke songs. You know,
He is just cool. He is
I'm not looking at the lyrics.
anything.
He's like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even remember what they were. You're like, and I believe it
That's
was
right.
Lehman, Kurtzberg.
Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Holloway. So those names are significant. So Holloway is the only character that you actually see both in the comics and in the show as well. You see her interact with Holloway. But Goodman, Lieber, and Kurtzberg, do those names mean anything to you guys? Just curious.
Kurtzberg?
Well, let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
So, I know who you're talking about. I'm just kidding. I don't. They mean absolutely nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I wasn't clear on that one. I thought you were gonna.
I was going down this whole. I was going to go down this whole like they make models and you could buy an F-15, but it's a whole.
Okay, so Martin Goodman, I think it's Martin Goodman, was the original publisher of Marvel Comics.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
before it was even Marvel, back when it was like Timely. Okay, so that's Goodman. Lieber and Kurtzberg, Stan Lieber and Jacob Kurtzberg, who you might know better as Stan Lee and
Gotcha.
Jack Kirby.
Gotcha.
So those are the original Jewish names of
I'm glad you
guys
said
that.
Gotcha.
There was this trend that was happening at some point in the early to mid 20th century where Jewish guys felt like they had to change their names for some reason. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I'm not a
I think it was just for funsies.
Yeah, I'm not a
nothing more
history
than that.
buff, but yeah, something happened back then.
Yeah, something about
It was like hip. It was hip to change, like shorten your name or something.
Yeah. So basically, that's one of many sort of in jokes that I mean, both this comic and the series as well. It's like they make all these kind of meta references to comic book
That's cool.
type stuff. Yeah.
Now I didn't even know that. I don't know a lot about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I only read a few, but I really enjoyed the series.
Yeah.
I've been approaching most Marvel things now at a totally different aspect. I approach it at a very low threshold, and most of the time I'm impressed. After, that's what I do it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a fun series. I think I don't really put it as in part of the MCU. I put it more like kind of like as the way they've taken Thor down this whole comedic road.
Right.
You know.
I think it's a great setup for like a DVD's extra feature on like the Hulk DVD show movie. Where like here's like her like dealing with like or like at the end of every movie, here's like the special feature and it's her dealing with like the ramifications of it or something.
Right.
That's where like watching I'm like, okay, I'm not really supposed to be taking this seriously at all.
No, it's
I'm
just
not-
it's like a sitcom. It's just a fun thing, but it's
Oh, yeah.
cool. It's cool how many characters are being introduced through that and being funneled through that. That's kind of really
Absolutely.
cool. Because think about it. I mean, in the end, these guys would have lawsuits and everything like that, and it's
Right.
I think it's really entertaining to see it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. That's what's exciting both about the series and about the comics for me was that this really gave Marvel an opportunity to use like their weird, obscure, unused characters that just appeared briefly in one issue and then people forgot about and basically they sort of like bring them back in this to show no this character is still part of the Marvel universe and they still are there and they have concerns and issues even though you might think they're really lame,
And they might even answer some of our questions, right? So our questions in the movies and in the comics most of the time is you have these superhero people, right, that just destroy cities. Who's responsible for that?
Exactly.
Who's responsible for that, dude? And then nowadays in our society where we're suing everybody, it'd be entertaining to see some of that on that show.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Where it's like you ruined all of downtown, dude. Who's responsible for it? Who's gonna rebuild it?
The only thing I don't agree with, because they said it in Civil War, where they're like, "You guys destroyed part of the city when aliens invaded," and it's like, it was like that was like a war. Like you wouldn't send soldiers and be like, "You shot up a car," and then also the U.S. government was gonna nuke the city, and that would have been. I don't think they would have paid people back for their cars if that happened.
No, but if you if you throw a match outside in the national forest and start a forest fire, they can come back to you.
Age of Ultron, everything that happened there, it's like, yeah, someone needs to pay for that.
Even though our
Absolutely.
our tax dollars should cover that, it doesn't. They'll come back to you for financial aspect of it, right? So in this case, like even you have Superman and the people from
Zod.
yeah, dude, just leveled a freaking city. And I get it. It would have happened either way, but you know how people are. The majority, someone wants to know who's going to pay for it. And and it's just funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
I think this would be a cool thing to see. Like when they did the episode with the guy that doesn't die. What's his name?
Right.
Mr.
Yeah,
Immortal.
Mr. Immortal.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
By the way, that guy is played by another guy that I used to watch do improv in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This guy, Dave Pasquazi.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's a great improv guy. Yeah.
Is Mr. Immortal the one where every time he dies, he gets a new superpower? Or is that another guy who...
Yeah, no. As far as I know, Mr. Immortal, yeah, in the comics, he's the leader of the Great Lakes Avengers, but yeah, which is just like another joke team, and it's he's just a guy who can't die, but otherwise has no superpowers. Just like, you know, he charges into a fight and he can't die, but he's otherwise completely ineffective. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't
yeah.
spend century. You know, they say Wolverine did that, even though he doesn't have any fighting technique. They
Right.
say Wolverine trained over centuries,
Right.
and then he jumps at a guy. But like Mr. Immortal didn't do any. He didn't even learn boxing.
Right.
Which
Exactly.
if you're immortal and you procrastinate, that's got to be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, you have to feel extra guilty. Yeah.
You
Well,
gotta
not
be-
really, because think about it. I got time.
Well, yeah.
There is that as well. Yeah.
You'd be like,
I'll get to it.
you
I
haven't-
got time.
You haven't
You're
learned
not
boxing
wrong.
yet? Yeah.
Well, think about it. Yeah, you haven't learned boxing. You haven't learned kung fu. I'll get to it.
Yeah. Also, it's like I don't like. By the time I learn boxing, maybe they're gonna discover some new type of martial art. So why
Yeah.
should I bother learning anything when they're gonna keep like
Yeah, that's
recreating
true.
it?
Yeah.
You need to learn about guns, and they have muskets.
'Cause-
I'll get to it.
Yeah, because
Right,
if I was immortal, like I'll become a doctor. You know, if give me 60 years, I could get a degree. And they're like, all your knowledge is now obsolete. I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah,
I don't
think
care.
would
I'm
be a
not doing it
doctor.
again.
I
I'm
don't think
not.
I'd be
I'm
a
not.
doctor.
I'm not going back to school. So I'm gonna just punch people.
So his way of living is pretty accurate.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
he's rich. He's got a nice ascot.
Yeah, I mean, being immortal just means you can be wildly irresponsible, and
Yeah.
until the lawyers get to you.
Yeah.
it's,
The background stuff that I know is the writer was essentially misled into thinking she was misled,
Huh?
like She-Hulk.
yeah,
Yeah.
good.
I like that. Yeah.
That she would have a much bigger budget than she did to show She-Hulk.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason, and this always confused me, why Bruce Banner, spoilers for Endgame, why he or not, what where he showed up on the intercom at the end?
On the intercom.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay.
Where he shows up at the end in like a hologram, when the guy's like,
Yeah.
"Why is he
Oh,
a
yeah,
human
that's
again?"
right, yeah.
The reason they made him human was for this show, because the writers couldn't think of a way to have him bleed. Which
Right.
this is the
pretty
start of
smart.
my issue, because in the comic, the car accident happens. He gives her a blood transfusion because
Yeah.
it's a life or death.
Right.
Like you have a short amount of time to do this, and that's why he does it. And it's like they rewrote it for another movie because they didn't want to do the original origin. That made more sense.
Well, what didn't make sense too is how his arm finally healed
Which I
because
think,
of that too.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because again, like he's
Because
like,
of
oh,
her blood and
he's wearing. Yeah, he's like, I analyzed your blood, now my wrist is fixed. It's like you regenerate your wound.
Yeah.
and this makes sure I don't turn into the Hulk. But off screen,
Right.
you figured all that out. So why does any of this matter? And the
but
reason is
in the end, I mean, they can't go exactly, and they have, they twist the story a little bit. But to me, that's pretty impressive that they would do that just to actually fix a timeline in a whole nother movie. Even what you're saying, I mean, if you think about it, they went to another movie to do it in anticipations for this show. That's pretty cruel. That's pretty impressive, dude. If you think about it, they just didn't let it go. And
it's impressive,
they
but
didn't
not
let
in a
it
way
go.
I like.
I know, but they didn't let it go and then just throw something in there at the last minute, and all of us are going, "What?" The fact that you could trace it back to there and I didn't even—that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that really didn't even occur to me. But I mean, clearly, the way that she becomes She-Hulk, yeah, I mean, she gets it from the blood of her cousin Bruce Banner, and I guess the only real difference between this show and the comics is that in the comics he intentionally gives her a blood transfusion, whereas in the show it's just like
It spills on her.
Yeah, they're in an accident and it just accidentally their blood commingles. Yeah, but
realistically, the character that you have in the MCU right now, I don't know if he would do that. I don't know if he would have given her a transfusion.
Yeah, exactly.
His character wouldn't have. I don't think so.
Well, it was a life or death thing.
I know, but with all of his stuff that he's been through in the MCU,
he would probably know better. Yeah,
there would be no way that he would want to do that. He wasn't with Scarlett Johansson. There were a lot of things that totally shifted because of he was dealing with this Hulk situation. Even the fact that Hulk and him were having issues.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he would want to put it on somebody else.
Counterpoint, this has happened after he's already figured it out. And he's now just like, yeah, I can just turn into a tough guy whenever I want with no downsides. So this is after he's figured it out. And he has much more resources. And she's not a wanted criminal like he was.
But even she said, oh, so you can make me a wrist thing like that? And he started, hey, this is simply for me and blah, blah. It's taken me all these years to do it. So he was still having issues with just himself. So to actually have somebody else, I think that would have been a little tough. Just my opinion.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the note that I started on, which is why I didn't. Yes, if that plot structure works for you, and if it doesn't, I think those are the two camps.
I think so.
And now I may have been drinking water while watching this show, because I was like, I'm not gonna watch this show dehydrated. So
right.
I was a little more like, what the, I can't handle.
Your electrolytes were just like,
yeah.
Electrolytes were just firing, man.
All the hydration in me was really amping up how I felt about what I was seeing.
I gotcha.
Although no amount of hydration will ever get me to forget like plot things that bug me. And I'm very nitpicky, as many people who have to talk to me will find out.
Sure.
That's why I've gone into most movies now from Star Wars or anything Disney that's linked to that world. It's so big now. It's been going on for so many years. They've done a pretty good job over the last, almost 20 years now. And,
Yeah.
So for me, I just go in with I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not going to pick it apart. I'm just going to, and I did that with She-Hulk, and I really liked it. I like when they break down the third wall and all that stuff. I think it's really, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. Is it fourth?
Third walls, I think, is stage right.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, fourth wall. Yeah. I have no idea, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good from the first one all the way through. I liked it, and I'm kind of jazzed.
Okay, well, great. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so far it sounds like we have Frank who doesn't really know much about the comics, but from the TV show likes it.
Right.
Me, I have an extensive background in the comics. I like it, and then Cody, very uncharacteristically, hates it.
He waterlogged
it. And my background is with the newer stuff, which, to be fair, 90% of new comics are very badly written.
Okay.
I don't like my favorite characters. I don't like them either in the new comics. So.
All right. Well, yeah, that's why I stopped reading Marvel.
That's a broad brush.
I mean, you read anything, it's like, oh, cool, they've been ruined. That's awesome.
Yeah. I stopped reading Marvel in '92 after the Image guys left. It was all downhill from there.
Okay.
But just a little more about the background of the sort of show itself. So yeah, I mean the cast of the show.
Duncan
has a phone, and it's like loaded. He's all just a little bit more, and all you see is tiny paragraphs of writing.
That's right. It makes sense to me. So we have Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters and the She-Hulk. I think if people know her, they probably know her from that show Orphan Black, which I haven't watched, but I've heard it's a good show where she plays like a bunch of different characters on there. So yeah, and I think she's good in the lead role. We have Jamila Jamil as She-Hulk's arch nemesis, Titania.
Titania.
Yeah, Jamila Jamil.
What's her character's name now? The superhero character.
Wait,
Titania's?
Yeah, that
She has a specific name.
that is her superhero name. Her real name is Mary
Okay,
McFerrin. Yeah.
Because Tatiana's like her real name, isn't it?
No, that's her superhero.
Titania is her superhero name. By the way, Titania is a character in Shakespeare's *Midsummer Night's Dream*, the Queen of the Fairies.
Oh, of course, I knew that. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
That's
No, I was just reading Shakespeare the other day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
was
Shakespeare's
listening
going to be
to-
coming up in.
yeah, I was listening to it
in a
on-
book we cover.
I was listening
couple
to
weeks.
it. I was listening to it in audio.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
no.
now that you say that, I totally
No, I
remember it.
legitimately was like, I'll get into Shakespeare. I was like, never mind, I'm not doing this.
Dude. Yeah.
I remember in class, while Duncan's getting the rest of his stuff, in class, like, when the teachers would read Shakespeare, and they would say something that's, like, mildly humorous, and the teacher would go, like, oh. And I'm like, you're not going to trick me into thinking I'm going to like this.
Yeah,
That's pretty
sucks.
obnoxious. Yeah.
It's like, do you bite your thumb at me? She's like,
You know, it's
not-
funny.
it's not that funny.
I look at it now, and it's like, you know, we latch onto things that are classic, right? And then we put on a pedestal because of multiple people taking it and writing and changing it and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, when does it switch? When is a more modern person going to be that Shakespeare? Because I think that Shakespeare is so out there. Generational wise, what connection do you have compared to all the new writers that have taken from Shakespeare and
Right.
evolved into it? When's the new Shakespeare? Because in the end,
Shakespeare.
that, I mean, to me, you know, I think at some point you need to just let go of that.
Well,
You know,
and
Coast does.
Coast?
Yeah.
Who's Coast?
Coast, the radio station. If you think about it, all the classics that you would hear when I was young were all Beach Boys and 50s. And now classics you hear The Cure and Depeche Mode.
Right.
It's adaptation.
I listen to Jack FM exclusive. I don't really listen to anything unless Jack FM is on a radio break. I'm just on there.
Oh, wow.
My whole life. That's all. I go to Jack FM and I eat at Jack in the Box. I used to think they were the same company. I was like, this is beautiful.
Wow. And he has 2 jacks in his car.
And I'm jacked.
And he's jacked.
And once we get cameras, you'll see.
I pretty much just listen
Speaking of She-Hulk.
to Baroque and early classical myself.
Do you? I tried. Do you? You really?
Not just that.
Yeah.
Some other stuff sprinkled in.
I listen to
partially true.
I listen to everything classical, dude. I even listen to, like, believe it or not, and this sounds weird, but like chanting, whale songs. All that stuff. I'm really hesitant to say whale songs because I just finished
Hey,
watching that
Star
whole-
Trek 4 is awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that is.
I know it has whales in it. That's
Oh my gosh, it's so stupid.
Oh no, man, that's the best.
It's like
Star Trek movies.
yeah. You know, they go to save the whales, and it's similar to the new Jurassic Park where they just have to throw the whole green cricket things in there, you know, to make it work.
Now I just want to say this. I like so Duncan, you like your music like I like my bank account. Mm-hmm. Baroque.
Baroque.
Just want to not forget that part.
That is too
Oh,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
So
Good.
Baroque.
All right, yeah, and just the other characters on the show. Ginger Gonzaga plays Nikki Ramos, who is her She-Hulk's paralegal.
I like that character.
Yeah, she becomes
That character is
more
cool.
prominent in some later episodes.
is that the
Yeah.
character who was like the two like those two guys type characters that like we're gonna go get you a costume? Because that scene I liked where they get like the knockoff merchandise.
Yes, that's the girl.
Those two characters, I was like, this is
It's
probably
pretty
my
fun.
favorite scene in the show.
I think if they do it right, she's really good. I hope they don't do anything stupid about giving
And-
her powers or anything like that.
and
I
I-
think they should just leave her alone.
Well, you never know how she could.
That's what I mean. You never know.
Blood spills on her. She could.
You never know.
Yeah, it's in this world, you know, a spider bites you, or like blood spills on you,
Yeah.
or someone's just like you just get powers.
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah.
Fall in a vat or something.
Right.
Fall
It
into the
doesn't matter.
vats. Anything gets inside you, you get
Yeah.
powers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was
He's
something that
suing
came up,
OSHA.
and I recently rewatched Spider-Man: No Way Home, and they talk about that a lot. Like, you gotta watch what you fall into, 'cause, Electro fell into the electric eels,
Yeah.
Sandman fell into the sand
Yeah.
mixer, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the villains are just like, I just tripped.
Yeah.
yeah. I just fell and
Yeah,
fell on this
yeah.
crystal, and now hey.
I was thinking for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it's like rhinos at the beginning. It's just a guy in a truck with like rhino underwear, and he shows up at the end in a rhino mech suit. And the world that he lived in is he had a playful fight with Spider-Man, and then he comes back. He's like, I'm ready to go. And Spider-Man like lost his girlfriend, and now he's like out for vengeance, as like
Right,
No Way
right.
Home confirms. So
Yeah,
the rhino character's like, Spider-Man, I'm a rhino guy now. Yeah. He's like laughing. He's like, we're gonna fight, and then Spider-Man like throws like a manhole at him. And we never hear any mention of him again. So I think I think his world is like, I'm gonna do this animal thing too, and then he just gets killed by Spider-Man.
Oh wow. Something else that occurred to me is that, again, in my sort of continuing theory that it is more difficult to find people that have not been characters in Marvel movies. Now, both of the guys from the movie Sideways have been Spider-Man villains. And so it would be great. It would be great if they remade Sideways, where now it's Rhino and Sandman going up to Solvang to drink wine and stuff.
Out of all places. That's too funny.
All right. So
Okay.
before we go fully in depth on this,
Yes.
what recommendations and ratings, Frank?
I mean, for me, I wouldn't go into it like if you're going to go see Endgame. Go into it just to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a step down from Guardians of the Galaxy, like more humor aspect and like just an old kind of like sitcom. I enjoyed it. I went into it like that, and I wasn't expecting anything, and I got more than what I expected. So yes, I would highly recommend it.
I am the exact opposite. I will never relax, and I will never have fun, and I'm never gonna not watch something and be like, what about that? This plot, I don't like this. This doesn't work for me, and I enjoyed it more than Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie. I was about to.
Not the
I was
movie.
gonna hit you with the mic.
Yeah, yeah. What a strange opinion.
I was like, wow.
Bucky got kicked in his vibranium arm in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he flinched. And that alone, I'm like, you don't get to be serious after something like that. Duncan.
Yeah, so I got to give this 10 out of 10 gamma bombs, which is a great cocktail, by the way. I think that if you like this character, I mean, if you're a fan of this character, this is probably close to a perfect realization of the character. I mean, it's maybe not necessarily my overall favorite MCU thing, but I can't really find any flaws in it in terms of its overall execution. I mean, a lot of people think that the fourth wall breaking and stuff is annoying, but it is all from the comics. So it's like, if you don't like that, then you don't like the character, and and that's fine. But I think that in terms of the adaptation, it's pretty perfect. Yeah.
And just to say, even if you don't read the comics, if you just heard this show, I mean, you talking about it now makes me enjoy it more.
Cool. Cool.
Because I mean, in when she was breaking that fourth wall, right, third wall, fourth wall, whatever wall, when she was breaking the wall, talking, it totally makes sense because she's talking about the writers and talking about that when you're talking about that's coming directly from the comic.
Yeah.
And that makes it. Now I'm going to be aware of that, so it's going to be cooler for me to watch it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like in Spider-Man, as we were talking about earlier. It's like you might find his constant quips annoying, but that is a core part of the character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what made some of them better than the others.
Yeah.
You know, like I watched the first Spider-Man the other day.
Right.
And I'm actually in that one, so I watched that one.
Oh,
But,
cool.
That's why I watched. That's how I found you via that movie. I was like, I'm gonna.
I was
do
in
a
the
podcast
crowd,
with
and
it.
But anyway, but in the end, it's like, that's why I like probably the Holland, not the newer Spider-Man. What's the other guy?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's.
Yeah.
Because I mean, his remarks and how cheesy he was more Peter Parker than I think that even they did with Holland. You know,
Tom Holland is I don't like his one at all. I grew to appreciate Andrew Garfield's like after
yeah.
and then Tobey Maguire is just I where I'm at is Tobey Maguire I prefer as a Peter, and I prefer Andrew Garfield as a Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting in No Way Home, where it kind of like reminded you of the good things about all of them. It's like, yeah, if we could like combine these three actors together, like we could get the angstiness of Garfield, the nerdiness of Tobey Maguire, and then I guess the youthfulness of Tom Holland all together into one thing. That would be the
some
perfect,
sort of genetically altered super actor.
Well, I mean, that's
and then,
well, you got
that's
AI
a totally
now,
crazy premise. I mean, but
And I think one just got loose.
Oh my God.
Something. We all know the plot of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did watch the Tobey Maguire, and watching it, it looks like I couldn't get Gollum out of my head, you know, because his eyes are always like wide through the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't even remember that.
Well, you have to remember, he just stopped needing glasses. So he's...
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be bulging eyes.
You're one of those 20/20 people, and as a fellow glasses wearer, I think you and me can agree that you don't get to talk about eyesight.
Oh, wow. Okay. I agree. Sorry.
Only we get to make jokes about that.
I don't want to glass shame.
Yeah. All right. Let's go a little more in depth here.
All right.
So we already talked a bit about the intro, but like, how'd you guys feel about that first episode?
Yeah, one of the most refreshing things I think about this show, also as opposed to like other Marvel Disney Plus shows, is this show really hits the ground running. It's like it wastes no time in being like, she's She-Hulk. Let's show you the origin and the training sequence and everything, and let's just get that completely out of the way.
Love it
at the absolute beginning. And so by the end of the first episode, it's like, okay, that's done. And let's move on.
Yeah, because Marvel has been doing that since Civil War.
Yeah.
And which I totally agree with. I don't need to know Peter Parker's origin story. I just don't need to know it. And everyone knows it. I don't need to know it.
I'm on the opposite of that camp because I haven't seen his origin in a while.
Who? Spider-Man?
Yeah. The last time I saw it in the Amazing Spider-Man 1. That was a while, and they did it differently.
Yeah, but even without that, let's say you never saw those movies, you wouldn't know how Spider-Man became Spider-Man?
Well, I would, but I like seeing things.
Right, but it's the same story over and over. It's like the regurgitated,
it's
just
the
different,
same basic beats.
And for me personally, I like the way that they jumped right into it. You never even saw it. It's like, you've been Spider-Man for 6 months, and all of a sudden, great. Just like with this one. Didn't mess around, man. I don't want a whole 3-episode drawn out till the car accident. I mean, that's what we would have got.
Exactly.
We would have got this drawn out, trying to sell us her character, and then Bruce's character, which we already know, and then just drag it out for 3 episodes, and then at the very end of the last episode, that's where she becomes She-Hulk, and then you get like maybe 1 episode of her She-Hulk.
You do what Moon Knight.
And then the next,
you do what Moon Knight did. Like before we watched that, like we were all taking bets. It's like it's gonna end with the transformation and a close up of the eyes glowing, and then Moon Knight's like, maybe you'll see more tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I love how Marvel's doing that. I don't. Don't want to know about it.
I'm in the camp of if it's a character I like, I actually am comfortable seeing it over and over again. Which I get not being there, but I'm like, you could tell it differently. And like I'm like, this character I haven't seen anything be done with, and like I like this character, but this movie character could be a completely different one.
Yeah,
it's and I get where it's like we all everyone knows.
Yeah,
Batman is, spoilers, Bruce Wayne. So you don't really need to go into it, but you can do it artistically. Wasn't that Superman comic that's like pretty famous where they shorten his story in like 5 panels or something?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like destroyed planet, spaceship, kindly parents, farm boy, Superman.
Right.
I'm like that. That's like cool. And I you don't have to show the whole thing. And Marvel, if they do it, they will stretch it out to the final minute of the episode. So I get that too. The issue I had in episode 1. I had a lot, but
there's a lot of holes in it.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Honestly, like watching it, I'm like, this is. Yeah, I'm not really supposed to be watching. I'm not supposed to watch this and be like, your internal logic is flawed. But Hulk's like, I need to train you because this is dangerous. She's like, don't tell me, what to do. And it's like, well, he's an expert on being the Hulk. But then she's like, I have control over it. She punches him. They get into a fight. And then he's like, you're right. You do have control. And I'm like, well that just showed she doesn't.
Well, not only that, does he have control?
Sometimes.
As Professor Hulk, yeah, but he really doesn't do anything as Professor Hulk. He even had a problem.
There's no reason for him to be Professor Hulk.
Yeah, and
right? What is he?
Well, it's he's in full control, right? But even in Endgame, he found it kind of really. I got to throw around cars and act like the Hulk. So you can tell he's not a really. So what does he know about being the Hulk? I had a problem with that. He knows nothing about the rage, just go nuts Hulk.
Because that's still Bruce, so he's never actually been the Hulk. That's an interesting point.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is a good point. That having Professor Hulk in this show sort of undercuts the kind of primary difference I think that's emphasized in the comics between the original Hulk and She-Hulk, which is that She-Hulk does have more control and she actually likes being She-Hulk. I mean, it's not a huge burden to her the way that Hulk is to Bruce Banner. It's actually a sort of release and kind of liberation from her boring human life to be this gigantic green goddess.
Yeah, I mean technically she should be teaching him.
Yeah.
Because she could actually change at will and
maintain
who she is.
If they did that to explain how he got to Professor Hulk, because again, they skipped over that part. You just get to the next movie, and he's like, "I figured it out." By the way, I'm like, "Oh, cool, that's awesome." That would have been. That would have made more sense to where like he's like, "Oh, I'm Bruce Banner again. I have to wear this wristwatch. I'm working with my cousin on something."
No, true, but I think they did build up to it. I mean, come on. All of us were waiting to see the Hulk. We saw toys of the Hulk busting out of the Iron Man stuff, and just
the biggest
Marvel.
lie we've ever.
I would love to own that toy because it's worth a lot of money. But in the end, I mean, to me that was pretty crazy in telling the story. I even think up until now, because, dude, everyone was waiting to see him in that movie. Mm-hmm. It's Endgame.
Right.
And we end up him fighting in freaking Iron Man. I mean, that's what I mean. So for them to take that risk, I think it builds all the way up into what we're seeing now. So even the Professor Hulk, you could say, well, yeah, we didn't really see it, but we saw it. We saw the origins, the progression of it. Even when he says, yeah, we got a lot of talking to do. He's talking to the Hulk. We got to figure things out. So they set up that whole thing. So it was natural for me to see Professor Hulk. I didn't really put a lot of like, really, what happened? Because obviously something was happening, and he couldn't. The Hulk didn't want to come out. Why? And then, and who knows? Maybe we'll hear about it. But
I think there's a deleted scene about.
Is there
that in Infinity War or something, where Hulk's like,
okay.
There's a lot of deleted scenes with. I'm like, you could keep that in the movie.
Wow, that's cool.
I know this from her. Wasn't she like fired from her job because she was partying too hard because she was addicted to being She-Hulk?
Well, yeah. I think she's just fired from her job just because they thought it was too much of a distraction.
Yeah, that's what they fired her for, because it's too much of a distraction
in the show, but in the comic,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This is a very vague, foggy memory, but she was like. Because she's like, oh, I'm She-Hulk, like, and because I thought, there's like she's like this meek, she was meek, and then she became She-Hulk, and then she was like, it became like a problem, and that's why she got fired.
Well, it's confidence building and all that stuff,
yeah.
And they kind of go over in that show where she's kind of insecure with herself, and when she's She-Hulk, she's not, but then she's in that in between. As She-Hulk, she's treated totally different than when she's regular. So I like them dealing with that. I took it down another road, but I mean, I really enjoy how they're playing with that aspect of it. Because if you could turn into the Hulk,
you'd never see me again.
Right? You'd be the Hulk you'd be the Hulk all the time. You'd just be walking in the laundromat. Hey,
yeah. I'm just gonna get some laundry soap.
Right. And what would happen to you, the core
dead and buried.
That's what I mean.
That's right.
But that would conflict, I mean, that's what I mean. So I think they did great with it.
Just on that point, that there is a part in one of the comic stories where she actually loses the ability to turn back into Jennifer Walters. And I think it's Mr. Fantastic like tells her the news, and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, you'll never be able to turn back. And there's like one panel of just like silence, and then she says, so what's the bad news?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how much it's emphasized in the comics.
This will be my last little nitpick here. But Hulk is like, hey, it's not all downsides being a Hulk. There's also upsides too.
Right.
Like it takes a lot more alcohol for us to get drunk, and I'm like, that's not a positive.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not
in a Disney thing.
right.
That I mean, I'm like that is when I went like, oh, okay, because if you're a child, that does sound cool.
I want to be like the Hulk, Mom. I'm gonna drink this whole thing of vodka.
I would love to be able to drink. Everyone drinks to not get drunk.
Yeah.
But here's the weird part. But then they still had a hangover.
Which is like anatomic, like biologically, that's not how alcohol works. So it's
Well, they only have a hangover if they go back into their human form.
but the Hulk form would have processed it.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, needing more alcohol to get drunk, that's only useful in the specific situation that Karen Allen's character is in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where she has that drinking contest with the guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so if you're
if trying to trick a bunch of the Nazis into
right,
getting
that's
drunk,
right.
that is the one utility is getting other people more drunk and them not knowing. That is like Bruce Banner's going to lose his mind when he finds out about O'Doul's.
That's right.
He's going to be like, you can drink all the beer you want and you'll never get drunk.
Right.
That is
Well, there were some, like, back to what you were saying, there were a lot of holes in it. There were a lot of things that I just let go. I mean, here, they don't even really show the car crash into the spaceship, right? It just kind of automatically, the spaceship's there and it's rolling down a hill. I had a problem with that. And then I had a problem with, where'd the spaceship go? I mean, you're coming down there down there to get the Hulk. Did you send an unmanned spaceship? And then if not, where to go?
Yeah.
Well, later on, you see Hulk riding in the spaceship in space, but that's not followed up on otherwise. Yeah.
Right, and I get it.
Right.
I watch it. I'm like, I see that because the creator was lied to. That it was implied she would have like an unlimited budget to do all those, and I can like just see the budget cuts, like especially when she transforms. It just cuts to two people just standing there, and she's like, "I'm She-Hulk now." Well, like change back.
Yeah,
and then it cuts back to them.
And you have a lot of the holes in it, in the fact that when they want. It doesn't make sense, some of the things they say, right, in the building of the whole world. So you have some of the changing, when he changes to the Hulk, like when the whole blood, it takes forever, right? It's not like super fast, right? And even in the Avengers, it takes him a while to change, right?
If it's not on purpose.
Right, but then he makes a statement that I tried to shoot myself in the mouth and the Hulk spit the bullet out.
Right.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. When the sort of survival instinct kicks
I guess
in,
so.
yeah, it's like,
I guess so.
Yeah.
So
one of the new comics I do like is Immortal Hulk, and they go into that.
Oh, really?
The whole point of it is the best like tribute to a character I've ever seen, because it justifies in the entire history of the Hulk, like where he can see ghosts, he can't be mind controlled. Because it's like in one comic he fights a ghost, and they're just like, no, he's too mad. The ghost won't work on him.
Wow.
And Immortal Hulk goes into all of that, and it explains that he. Like
see, that would be cool to read.
It is real. It's like it becomes like a horror comic, and like gamma radiation is like the same energy as like death and all that, and like it's called the Green Door, and like every time he dies, the Hulk just can go through and take control, and that's why he can regenerate. He doesn't actually regenerate. It's just the radiation just reverses his death. You get at one point Red She-Hulk, they changed her name to Harpy because they're like, they need a different name. Like we need you to. She can fly now also. He's like, I need you. He's wanted. She's, I need you to take me across the country. She's like, I can't carry all that weight. So they compress him into a ball of meat, and then she flies with him.
I kind of had you you kind of had me in the beginning, and I was really interested until the ball
that
of
lost
meat.
You? Well, because he regenerates from it. So and then
but can he just leap from one? I mean,
no,
even the classic Hulk.
He's wanted.
Classic Hulk, he used to be able to jump almost in the atmosphere.
Okay, so now we're gonna start. Oh, now that's flawed, and we're gonna work.
I'm just saying. He's always jumped, even in the newer movies.
He's a big jumper. Yeah, but at some reason
he had to be put into a ball of meat.
It's a cool idea.
Hulk, I know you could jump there, but we're gonna compress you in a ball of meat. So just hold on a minute.
To be fair, Hulk then says, "Never do that to Bruce again." Like.
Wow, Hulk is actually protective of Bruce
Wow.
Banner.
They go into that where it's like it is like wrong, but like Hulk loves Bruce and doesn't want anyone to harm him, and that's why he jumps in so quick to defend him whenever he's like, and he can jump fast. So that's all in a new comic. That's not in the movies.
It's
but
a spicy meatball.
I'm speechless right now.
Anyway,
So,
so there were a couple holes that I didn't like, but I wasn't.
couple
I-
Hulks.
But I wasn't. I wasn't like I would be if I was watching Endgame or
sure.
just this movie. It was just more like whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people have complained about how sort of cheesy the CGI stuff looks, but I don't know, that stuff doesn't really bother me that much.
No.
I mean, yeah, it is a TV show, and yeah, I mean, having extensive CGI in a TV show is still a relatively new thing. You know, the very first fully CGI character in a TV show was in the Inhuman show, which was
Didn't happen, by the way. The Inhuman show never existed.
No, I could have sworn that I watched all
No,
all
this
8
is
episodes.
one
of
of
it.
your this is your
Mandela
Mandalorian effect. Yeah,
Mandalorian.
Oh, this is so weird.
Mandela,
Yeah, no, that-
Mandela effect.
you can
Okay,
you can
well-
look it up. No one's heard of this show, man.
Anyway,
You
in
can't-
the alternate reality in which I saw
See,
the
it's
show-
weird because I'm tripping because I mean, dude, I got advertising for it. I just thought it was too cheesy and I didn't watch it.
No, you can. No one I know has ever heard of this show before. So you're the only
Well,
one who goes
that's
off.
true. Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I mean, I have literally only met like 1 or 2 other people who have also watched that show. But yeah, the character of Lockjaw, the dog on that show, that's the first CGI character in a TV show.
What?
Yeah.
That was like a year ago, wasn't it?
That was,
I don't
that was-
know.
that was like maybe 4 or 5
maybe
years
a
ago,
main
yeah.
character because I mean, Sifi's been doing CGI stuff
Well,
for a long
sure,
time.
yeah.
Sharknado and everything like that.
Well, sure, yeah. But those are
Those are movies.
grand TV movies. Yeah.
That's true.
Very high budget.
But this is, I think this is better than a sci-fi movie.
I forgot they changed the spelling of it to be cooler. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, right, that's a real. What? I was gonna say something about the I was like, why wouldn't they just hire like a bodybuilder to play and like as like a thing like what the Hulk show did, like the.
Because it was cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
You
Lou
know-
Ferrigno. I mean, it would have been that show would have been better if you had Arnold. That's like over 6
Everything
foot.
would have been better with Arnold, and I'll never dispute that.
Just because it's Arnold, but Lou Ferrigno's a smaller guy.
I think it's
know,
pretty average height.
And sorry, I'm shaming all over this show. But it was it's a cheesy show. It was
Yeah.
pretty brutal. You know, yeah, the spray painted green chanclas on and everything. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to laugh, watch the one with him and Thor in it. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got-
the trial with
Oh
the
my
Incredible
gosh,
Hulk. Yeah,
it's totally hilarious. So I'm glad that they didn't. You have the ability not to. That the character is more apt to what we see in the comics, not just some chick, that's a bodybuilder. I think they did good in the CGI.
Yeah. I think years ago there was talk of Bridget Nielsen playing She-Hulk. I think
Yeah.
or something like that. But
I don't know.
no, they wouldn't have. Yeah, she was. You seen Rocky IV?
No.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then there's no points.
There's
for
you're dead in the water on that one. There's nothing. Red Sonja? Never mind.
None of this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Her name is Red Sonja in the movie. Is that-
No, she plays. Didn't she play Red Sonja?
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the
Bridget Nielsen.
what like the Conan movie or something?
It was right after Conan.
Oh right,
The Barbarian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've seen that.
No.
Oh, dude.
I haven't seen that either.
You haven't seen Conan the Barbarian with
No,
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I'm
It's a great movie.
well, maybe we'll talk. Wait, it's a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a show.
No, it was a movie.
Oh, okay. What happens after this?
Conan the Destroyer.
She gets training, and then it's like go
Okay,
back
yeah.
to your job. She gets. This is also it's like Titania is like a sitcom nemesis type deal where
Yeah.
she because I'm like you should be in
Right.
jail
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I mean, that's not really followed up on. It's like she breaks into the courtroom and they have a fight, and then Titania's just fine. Yeah, after that, she continues doing her thing.
Yeah, and that like, because they're like, oh yeah, the event where I got called my name. It's like, that's when you fought her in prison, or not in prison, in the court where she threw like she did attempted murder on like 7 people.
Right.
For reasons I don't remember. I was a little hydrated, but like.
Yeah, I don't think they even really explain it. I think she's just kind of like.
Well, no, she was going out with a dude that was being.
Oh, okay.
Tried, remember, and then she came into the court.
Okay.
Let him go
Okay,
and all that
gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which is if you know someone in court, a good backup plan is to break in and just try to kill everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next time we see her, she's like, "I'm selling She-Hulk perfume," and I'm like, "You should be in jail."
No, I could totally understand. I could totally understand realistically, Marvel fans really having problems with this show. Because, like in anything else in Star Wars, Marvel, and all that stuff, I think what ruins it is the fans. It's us, right? We get too caught up in it. They're doing this wrong and that wrong and that wrong, and not understanding that sometimes they have to do those things because, in the end, who's going to want to see a Vulture, dude in the actual Vulture costume from the comics?
And this is what I was talking with Duncan with on our previous gaming episode, in which you did the wonderful art for.
Yeah, I do like that.
Cool.
I thought it was really fun. I like the little touches you do. Especially, oh my god, I can't figure out the web shooter. But I don't like superhero costumes in comic books at all, and I don't.
Right.
I never like seeing them translated over.
Yeah. But they've done a good job, Marvel.
Yeah, but Vulture in the first Spider-Man is the best recreation
that
of any
sick.
character I've ever seen. The costume, what he does, everything. I'm like, the whole movie is worth it for that character. I think it's awesome. Because it's like, I don't want to see them. He's wearing like green latex with like a collar. And he's like, I can fly. I have a jetpack.
Yeah.
They're like, because I hate skin tight suits. I want them to look like they have clothes on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Marvel's done a good job. Like even Thor has his cape. Not that often,
right?
And all these suits, they're buyable. They're not, So every time they release something like a new character, I'm like, I get scared, like that MODOK guy.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting really scared at that dude. I'm getting scared at the dude with the big green head. What's his name?
The leader.
Oh yeah, the leader.
It's like I would have left him out. I don't know how they're gonna do that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's one crazy thing that also relates to the show is, they may follow up on the leader because the leader was teased in the Incredible Hulk movie from way back with Edward Norton in it, but they might follow up on that because Tim Roth's character Abomination is back in this show,
which is like, how long has it been?
Yeah, well, the character did show up briefly in the Shang-Chi movie, so they did kind of tease it there. But it's been over 10 years since.
But don't you think that's kind of cool?
I think
that's
awesome.
Freaking awesome.
I wanted to watch She-Hulk just for Abomination because I really like in the movies. I like that character.
Yeah, it was just awesome.
It's a weird thing in the new one where it's like hand shaped or something. I don't know I don't think they know what they're doing with him. But like, because and especially when he's like, I was working with the military, like,
right?
Yeah.
Where his story, I was injected with a chemical that famously causes you to go crazy, and they knew that when they injected me with it, and I was hunting a dangerous target, and like I don't know, it's like, why would he go to jail, but then the Hulk isn't? I'm like, these are all very valid points.
Yeah, and now he's trying to reform himself, and he has 5 wives now, but that's fine. Hey.
Well, that's what happens in prison. If you're famous, you just.
It's true.
That is all very realistic.
It's crazy.
Famous people go to prison; they just get love letters.
It's crazy. I just watched the Dahmer episode thing.
Dahmer?
And he had a ton of people sending him money from prison.
That's crazy.
You'll be like, this guy he would like kidnap women and eat them, and then it's like, he gets marriage proposals and
it's like crazy. So Abomination, hey, I get it.
Yeah. I think he killed one guy on screen. I don't remember. Like, I think he kicked a guy, but then after that,
there was some pretty much, I think, some damage on that street fight.
Well,
they weren't really both of them paying attention to pedestrians.
Him and Hulk were like doing the same amount.
Oh yeah. Both of them, mate.
That's that thing where it's just like when the Abomination would do it, there would be someone in there. When the Hulk would do it, by chance, there's no one in there.
Right.
But it's not.
And then what do you do? Do you sue the city? You're going to sue somebody. So do you sue the city or do you sue Bruce Banner? Right.
Yeah. Well,
because it's not associated with the Avengers, so you can't go after the Avengers.
But he was working with the military at the time, so good luck suing the military, buddy.
And that's also where damage control comes in. They're the ones that get the contract to rebuild stuff. Yeah.
You heard
it's all done on purpose.
Do you guys know about Weapon H?
Weapon H.
No.
There's a guy who's given he's given adamantium or like a subpar version of it, skeleton that can expand, and he's given a subpar version of the Hulk serum. I don't know how the Hulk works, but then it's a guy who's like he's just the Hulk and Wolverine, so he's Weapon X, Hulk, Weapon H, and he's got like huge spikes coming out of him. I don't know what he does. He just like he's gray.
I heard about that.
Wait, that got you to remember?
because there's been so many gray and red and all that stuff.
Okay, because like adamantium Hulk.
And they were talking about it. I just was listening to someone talk about it, but I wasn't too interested in it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I only read like his intro, and after that he's like, "We'll see what happens later," and I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think about what's the name being in it from Doctor Strange?
Wong.
Oh,
Wong.
Yeah. I think he's a cool.
I thought it was
yeah.
cool, and yes, it was like seeing Thor in Guardians of the Galaxy. So you go from Thor, this one character, and then all of a sudden he's slapstick in another. That's kind of how it was with Wong for me, a little more than he is normally.
That's true. Yeah.
All of a sudden it turns into Three's Company, and you're going, what?
He just watches TV, and it's like he's like a sorcerer.
Yeah.
In like a temple, and
he kind of always was like that. Even when he was talking to Doctor Strange about listen to Beyonce, and he was talking to Doctor Strange about the sandwich he wants, and he likes the one ice cream. So they did kind of go along with it. They just kind of put it on steroids a little bit.
And here's a hot nitpick for it, which by the way, Tim Ross I thought was amazing in the show. Like that was like, absolutely. Oh yeah, you can't keep this actor in here for long because he's gonna overshadow everyone.
Yeah,
Wong, he's like suing someone for something. Oh yeah, like I guess
the magician,
Johnny Blaze's cousin or something, or is that's the implication?
Donnie Blaze.
Donnie Blaze.
Yeah.
I thought that was like one of the better episodes, but then he's like, She-Hulk, I need you to help me, and it's like, no, you don't.
I know you just did
not
the
only
things you do, and you need me to help you.
Not only do you not need her help,
yes.
You literally run the Sorcerer Academy.
Yes, you're Sorcerer Supreme. The whole thing.
You're this. There's no
the
other
guy.
There's nothing above Supreme. You go to any pizza shop, you'll know. And he's like, let me get my lawyer to help me fight this thing that I should be able to do on my own and have access to a bunch of people more qualified.
Yeah, I could make all these whips come out, which I could have grabbed every one of those demons and throw them in the hole. But I need She-Hulk. She has no powers to do anything but jump around.
Yeah, which so many
smash stuff.
Titania can just do that. They don't even explain why.
Yeah.
There's not even like an implication. That's just in this world. By the way, no one questions it. Sometimes people can just do that.
She's the
and
Kim
She-Hulk
Kardashian.
just turns green when she does it.
Yeah, she's the Kim Kardashian.
How do we do a Hulk thing with Kim Kardashian? Shim Hulk. Shim Hulk Dashia. Shim.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call him
Hulk Kardashian.
Shim. Yeah.
Hulk Kardashian.
We're gonna cut those.
Yeah.
Gamma Dardashian.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. Gamma ding dong.
Okay, you saved it, Frank.
It was going down a bad point. But I always like the introduction of other characters that blend into the whole world. I just
Absolutely.
always have. I loved crossovers when they thought we were going to make these kids spend more money, and that's what I stopped reading comics. I just couldn't afford it.
Right.
It got expensive even in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you were following, you were trying to read 6 books at once just to get the story. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do
new issues. It's like $5 for like 6 pages of a story.
Wow, is it that much now?
Well, it's like 3.
Well, yeah. I mean, just go on. Marvel Unlimited, and
it's $3 a month.
I mean, you just have to wait 6 months for the new issues to get on there, but. That's no big deal.
I loved going to comic book shops also and just like, do you have this? They're like, no, we have Attack on Titan. Be like, all right, sweet. Do you have Irredeemable Iron Man? That was great too.
was it?
Doctor Doom becomes Iron Man.
Oh,
It's really good. You should check. Canceled. Why would they have good stories?
wow.
No, you should check it out.
Yeah,
you should check
I
it-
might.
The Donnie Blaze one, I thought that was interesting too, because it's like he's like doing like card tricks, but it's like, but he is a sorcerer.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure if they show anything more than just close-up magic.
'Cause he
that
started-
No, because he opens the ring.
Well, yeah, but he started,
Oh,
and
okay,
they
yeah.
even say that he started and then left. So they accepted him into the training, but he ended up leaving. So that's
yeah,
why
that's
he has
right.
that's why he has the sling ring.
He just took it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But what I
It's
don't
just a
understand is
renegade.
why they don't really go get it. Really?
Well-
So they just mishandle stuff like the military. Oh, night vision goggles. Oh, great.
Which, by the way, there is a character in this setting who just disappeared, but his whole thing is he's killing sorcerers who abuse their power and handle it irresponsibly.
Yes.
And after he beat the guy who used it to cure his paralysis, he doesn't mind the guy who's a public figure doing magic.
Now that would have been cool to bring that character in.
And he just and we just get like
Oh,
5
that would've
minutes and
been
he just
cool,
beats him to
dude.
death. That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. And then
What character are you talking about?
I'm talking about what's his name that used to be that brought in Doctor Strange, and now he's after all the
Remember-
sorcerers.
Too many sorcerers.
Baron.
Baron-
Yeah. Baron Mordo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
That'd be cool to bring him in. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Because I'm like that guy has more reason to be in this than She-Hulk. Again,
It's true.
that
yeah.
you don't ask your lawyer to help you beat up a guy. I'm not a lawyer,
Yeah.
but I've watched some things on law, and I know you can't. That's not anything anyone's first move would be. I also know
Right,
you can't have surprise witnesses in court. So
It's true.
Yeah, I've seen My Cousin Vinny.
yeah, that's literally exactly what I'm referring.
That's where I base my law degree on.
Yeah,
That's right.
Which
It's
is
accurate.
more law knowledge than this show has.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they'll do it on the show, but yeah, in the comics they basically show that all comics are approved by the Comics Code Authority, and because that's a government institution, which it actually isn't, but in the comics they say it is, they can all be legally admissible as evidence in court, so they can actually use comic books as evidence in
Oh,
court.
I missed that, bro. That's
Wow.
right.
I missed that,
I mean,
too.
that's just in the comics, but
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, that's pretty funny.
yeah.
Because it's like comics, and I was like, no, Wolverine's real. By the way, he's like,
That's right,
He
yeah.
drinks at a bar sometimes. And he, like, so it is like I think Old Man Logan did that.
Yeah, old
Where,
man
where,
Logan.
where it's like these comic book, it's not really what happened.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, people, there's,
But what's weird is he kind of like he's talking about how something like it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Something like it did.
Yeah.
They just wrote it,
Yeah,
and
the details
you know.
got changed.
yeah, I didn't wear that costume. I just wore like a plaid shirt, and I'm like,
I do
realistically,
I do
yeah.
love that scene, and when he opens the suitcase and has the old Wolverine costume.
Yeah, and he
Oh,
just
yeah.
closes
That was
it,
pretty cool.
and then
Yeah.
he flips off the camera, and he
Because
goes,
there's no
"Never."
way that would look good on film.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fans would be like, yeah, and then about 10 minutes of it, you'd be like, really?
I think what Captain America did for the helmet was pretty clever. He instead the wings are just like painted on the side.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
that was
stuff like that is how I like stuff being reimagined. Mm-hmm. With
Yeah,
Wolverine,
but it's tough because when you go back and you look back at the older movies, the costumes really suck. Like you go back and
The
look
leather.
at the Ultron
Oh, yeah.
and stuff, and you're like, wow, because we just got thrown into it. Here it is, and it was close enough to the real thing. Yay! But as it went on, when you start getting into Endgame and stuff with Captain America,
yeah.
I'll take that costume all day long.
I still hate that they made him shave the beard for that scene where he fights himself. He was beautiful with that beard. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. When he was Nomad, briefly, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
guess
I'm mad.
a lot of things can happen in 5 years.
Yeah, I
Yes,
would love to see it eventually.
That's right.
I would love to see all these character arcs and storylines happen. I can't wait. So yeah, okay. So she helps Wong. I thought
Yeah.
Wong is. It's interesting that he's become and a guy who can teleport. It makes sense that
Yeah.
he's just around. There's no reason for him to show up anywhere because he's not under any like jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, which is why which is when they're like, you abated a criminal fleeing, which I thought was funny because it is like, what that makes that scene. What's gonna happen there? And he just gets up and leave. He also could have just said, yeah, I did. And
Yeah. Oh well. See you later.
are you gonna sue me?
Yeah.
Are you gonna arrest me? I'm the sorcerer.
Supreme.
Yeah. Like the Blaze guy. Why don't you just send him to the top of the Himalayas? then be done with it.
Yeah, they do that to people.
I know.
Yeah, they just do that to people. They just send people to the Himalayan mountaintops and
Yeah,
they're
chop off their arms on the way back in. I mean, they just do that all the time.
They did that to Stephen Strange before they knew he could even do
Yeah,
it. They
yeah.
know he can open portals.
So there's probably tons of bodies up there. Well, we don't even know of. Just frozen. People go climbing, and that was a climber.
Yeah,
no, that was a dude from Brooklyn.
Yeah, no.
So grim. Yeah.
Sometimes people just show up and they're like, "Oh yeah," and then she's trying to find the person who can like do it. She's been wrong a lot.
She's. Did you just say what I think you said? Okay, never mind.
All right, yeah, I liked Abomination, Donnie
Yes.
Blaze. I'm like, this is fun, but your logic is flawed, which I know.
Yeah.
I'm not fun to watch movies with. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not fun to do most things with. I'm just like I don't like this. She goes to a wedding. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then there's the big costume episode that I think is supposed. Oh yeah, she fights the wrecking crew.
That's right. Yeah. The wrecking crew shows up. Yeah.
Which
briefly.
Yeah.
They're not really presented as much of a threat, but
No.
but that's that was an interesting tease. Yeah.
But what I did like about the show is the first reference to Wolverine.
Oh
the
yeah,
MCU.
in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. I was like, oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Which is that's also what the trailer is for the Wolverine game. It just shows him at a bar where a fight happened,
Really?
and he goes snicket, and the sound effect.
Yeah. Snicked. Yeah.
Snicked. Yeah, we all know the noise of knives coming out of
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
snicket.
That would be really great. I would totally change the sound so most fans will get pissed off.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't go shunk.
Zoop. Zippy
That would
whippy.
piss a lot of people off.
Everyone knows it
Absolutely,
doesn't do that.
She has a wedding episode where okay.
Yeah.
Titania
Yeah.
steals her identity.
Yeah.
After she goes on like Tinder dates and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's when she's like, I need you to help me fight the demons.
Yeah, yeah.
At the times I'm selling perfume, like you committed attempted murder. That's at the very least a crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
Mail
like,
fraud, something.
which she's not even representing herself, because the writer said they didn't know how to write like serious like courtroom drama like in Daredevil.
Oh,
So
Really?
the writer
makes sense.
The writer
Now
admitted,
it makes sense.
which is why I feel dumb even like because the writer said like I don't know how to do this, which is like
Yeah, but it's
which
funny.
also yeah
writing a
There's
show.
no way that we can hire somebody
Yeah.
who does know
Yeah.
how to do this.
yeah. So
Our hands are tied.
Yeah.
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 That's a little disappointing.
so that's I also knew that going in too.
and
so
you're
when-
writing a show about a lawyer?
a lawyer. That's
Yeah.
her job.
Yeah.
So it's like so I went in like having like knowing like this stuff, which I'm like I hate this. Just hire someone who can
Or watch some Ironside.
watch. Watch a movie
Some Perry
about
Mason.
Yeah,
court.
Perry Mason,
Something.
yeah.
Something.
Law and Order. I mean,
Law and Order.
I ju-
Something.
Is
It's
it
on
just
all the time.
like Kevin Feige just calls up people like I need you to write She-Hulk and I need you to write it now, and they're like
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't do that. He's like it's already being made.
Yeah. Spare no expense.
So yeah, you
We're
have
just having to redo the CGI, but once that's done,
the CGI is gonna happen. We just need you to write stuff she does. Like I don't know, she goes on like a date. Perfect. We'll CGI around it. Just go. We cannot.
Yeah.
Writers, we can't find them. No one wants to write. No one likes comic books. No one has any knowledge about any of this. We have no resources.
Right.
You can't. You could ask a person off the street, like, do you want to like help? And they'd be like, yeah, for free. Yeah, I'll do it for
Oh,
free.
yeah.
And just be like, hey, courtroom, that's not
Yeah.
like allowed.
give this guy a sandwich.
You can't. Yeah.
I mean, he'll work. He'll work for the afternoon.
Hire Duncan just for like a cup of coffee. Just be like, yeah.
Oh yeah. I totally do it.
So yeah, she can't even represent herself in court, which I know as a lawyer you are allowed to represent yourself.
Well, no, I think that in that context, she's just advised to not do it.
Right.
It's not like she can't do it. It's just it would be a bad idea for her to do it. They
Okay.
say, but yeah.
Okay, well then I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on.
Shows you don't watch enough. Perry Mason.
You don't watch enough of the thing that we're reviewing right now.
And and I don't feel bad about it.
So we have that part, and then the wedding, and I like even through all these different things that are happening in the show that they're still she's still chugging through her own personality stuff. Mm-hmm. I really like that, and I know it's overshadowed by all this comedy and stuff, but I mean it's pretty in depth. Yeah, I mean she likes being the Hulk, and then she didn't like being the Hulk, and then she shows up to the wedding as the Hulk, and the lady's like, "Dude, I don't want the Hulk. I don't want to take it away from my day,"
which is fair.
Sure.
Well, yeah, but she's so used to now everyone wanting to see the Hulk, so then she's kind of disappointed with herself as herself. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I dig that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the sort of split personality she has, where she never feels completely adequate in one or the other, and just do people just like her as this or as that? Yeah,
and some actually don't like her as regular when they were in the court. Right. Mm-hmm. I like dating the She-Hulk, but I'm not really into.
The guy who was written to be like I'm seeing the Disney show where like the audience goes like ooh, and I'm like that just looks like a guy to me,
right?
But it's like he's the handsomest man in the world. I'm like I mean everyone is a supermodel in this world because like they're actors, so it's like you just have a guy's like no he's really hot though. I'm like well the scientist like Bruce Banner's not doing too like everyone's attractive because it's a all actors but.
And I don't know why everyone got so bent out of shape about the whole twerking scene with the two characters.
Oh yeah, I mean
no, I have
fine.
much more issues with everything else.
That fit the whole show. Yeah, I mean it didn't step out of the show. Now if they did that in Endgame or something, you'd have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. But this is not that.
Yeah,
it didn't feel out of place.
This is not even Daredevil. This is not
sure.
This is not nothing.
I will absolutely be up in arms, and I will post my 40-minute outrage video where I just read like a Wikipedia article about the thing. You see videos like that all the time, where they're like they have like one sentence and they spend like an hour talking about it. But like
That's what we do.
If there's just this, if Daredevil twerks in Daredevil Reborn, I will be up in arms.
He will.
I'm going.
No, that's not gonna happen.
I'm going full Joker. I'm putting my Joker makeup on.
No, this show is.
And I'm going to sow the seeds of chaos.
This show is what it is. That's all it is. It's just a funny kind of breath of fresh air, kind of not to take it too seriously, but introducing people into the MCU.
Yeah, and this and it's definitely as you said, a breath of fresh air in terms of other Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just 30 minutes. Very much more sort of episodic. It's not like the
better than Boba Fett
continuing story. Yeah, Boba Fett and Moon Knight and all this stuff where it's just like one episode just teases the next
something's
episode
going to happen
stuff.
Next time for sure.
Yeah. Oh no. Tune in next time, and
we promise you,
shit will really get real.
You're gonna be so amazed.
And I don't know. In my opinion, sometimes that fits. Like when like the new series, the Star Wars series of the one guy from
from Rogue One.
From Rogue One.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You had to release all 3 episodes. Because if you would have saw the first one, you've been really kind of that theory, So at least they released all 3. Where by the 3rd one, you're like, okay, this is kind of cool, I mean, at least I thought so. But mostly like Moon Knight and Boba Fett just fell short every time.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'm remembering Moon Knight, like when he was like just punching air, just being like, okay, just budget gone. We ran out.
But we've seen clips of She-Hulk. They're introducing other characters.
Oh yeah,
and some of them are cheesy, but I mean that's the whole thing of the show. I think the whole thing of the show is just different. Mm-hmm. It's just a lighter-hearted look at it, and I love the fact that they had Bruce Banner in there. Loved it.
Oh yeah.
I thought that's so cool that you're bringing. It's not like you don't have the computer mapping of this character. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing that what they said they were going to do. They're doing. They're starting to bring those worlds together. Like Daredevil and Spider-Man. Really? Mm-hmm. How freaking cool was that?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see a lot of that now. Instead of getting a new actor or new something, they're making it work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you think she's gonna date that new guy she met at the wedding?
Well,
Ooh.
I'm thinking there's somebody sitting there going, you're gonna have to pay for this whole sidewalk you crushed out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll get our bill.
They rented that building out. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine? Some guy who's working a waiter. Excuse me, did you see what they did to the sidewalk?
Yeah. I don't
think there's gonna be a romantic thing with her. I don't think so.
What if that's
probably not an
Amadeus'
ongoing-
show? He's a guy who, for some reason, just decided he wanted to be the Hulk, and then he blows for a bit.
Rock me Amadeus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the comics, her boyfriend is this guy Wyatt Wingfoot, who is Johnny Storm's college roommate. Yeah, he's a Native American character. But
Okay. Well, then no, that's not. Yeah. Then that's fine. I thought it was like a superhero identity.
Yeah, I was like Wingfoot.
no, he's just like he's like a regular guy that helps the superheroes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does he have like vaguely? Mystical abilities?
He's like a big, strong guy, but he doesn't have any superpowers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they get along good?
Yeah. It's a good relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna work?
I think they're going to go the distance.
Yeah, I think they will.
those kids are going to go the distance.
As long as the communication stays open.
That's right.
Ooh.
And who wears the pants is.
I mean,
just,
they may need to go on Dr. Phil to
yeah.
work some things out, but.
All right. Do you
All right.
remember anything else from that show? Any final points you want to hit?
Dr. Phil or She-Hulk?
We can talk about Dr. Phil in another episode.
Well, the thing about Dr. Phil is that
That's
That's a pretty good
okay.
Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
you have that. You actually get better at accents as you go. I get worse, but I was like starting to really feel it like towards the end.
I kind of like slide into it.
Yeah, that's good.
The babe is not mine.
Yeah,
That's Maripovich.
yeah,
Well, that's Dr. Phil too. He does.
Does he do that?
Yeah.
yeah.
he does
They should do that where the first test is his DNA on every paternity test. So like it's like, oh, who's the father? But Dr. Phil does it first. He's like, I am not the father, just so we're all clear.
That would
and then
be cool.
they do the second
That'd
test.
be cool. And then fool him one day, and he is the father.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah, and then he just like
Yeah, we
drops
reverse it on you.
Then he just
You're
drops
the
the mic in
father.
front of the other guy.
Yeah.
All right.
It is my baby. Anyway,
I think that's everything.
that's everything.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
so
we
I'm
covered
just-
it.
I'm just gonna read a comment. I thought this would be appropriate too.
Yes.
By Case in Space. I was worried I did. Well, I figured out how to pronounce it as I was doing it, and I thought this was interesting too because Duncan, you responded. But have either of you played the Guardians of the Galaxy game? I haven't, but I've heard mostly good things.
Yeah, and I have played the game, and I think it's pretty cool. But unfortunately, yeah, you can only play just as Star-Lord, which I found a little disappointing, coming from the Avengers game to that. But you can still sort of control the other characters through Star-Lord a little bit, but it's a different interface. Yeah.
And I thought this was cool. This is from the I'm Not a Serial Killer review episode.
Oh wow.
By Techno Tengu. We recognize him.
Yeah.
Came back to say that I'm 3 books into the series because of y'all.
Oh,
And
good.
While thank you, I can't stop imagining Cody as John, the titular, not a serial killer teenager.
Dude.
So I thought that was
Yeah.
funny because here's the thing.
Yeah, that is.
I
you.
agree.
I know. I know. It's pretty bad when you watch stuff like Dahmer and have like flashes and recognitions of your friends
Yeah.
and the things they do.
Yeah, I like reading books about. I like when you read a book about a sociopath. I'm like, that's not crazy.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Criminal?
That's just how people feel about things. This is.
Yeah.
I legitimately would tell that to people. Like, it's not even about a sociopath. He just acts like a normal person.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Do we have an outro?
After that, I don't know.
Oh, She-Hulk, smash that like button.
Oh, I like that.
And Hulk, smash this subscription.
That was a
Amen.
struggle, but yes.
Excelsior.
Exactly what he said.
Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah, Stan.
Oh yeah.
there he
Okay,
is.
heroes.
Just out of nowhere.
Face front, Excelsior.
Okay.